stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the...
Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. Today is Tuesday, October 18th, 2022. This is episode number 445 of a show where we co-create life together, a show where we talk about the 5 W's and how as we grow the family business here at York Meadow Farm. You know, a show where you join me with my family on our small farm and homestead as we grow all around. And part of all of that growth is the active management of everything coming into our lives. And, you know, the busier that we become, maybe the older that we get, I don't know how this works, but it seems like the more, you know, transition and change we also experience in life, the more inputs we have to manage. And today we're going to talk about inputs in the form of email and the way in which I have chosen to actively manage that. But before we jump into email management utilizing Thunderbird, let's do a little housekeeping and get that out of the way. The sponsor of today's show, as usual, is York Meadow Farm, and we offer small batch, handmade, fermented foods and natural bath and body products. What we aim to do here is nourish our customers on the inside and out. So if you're interested in healthy foods, healthy bath and body products, check out yorkmeadowfarm.com. There will be a link in the show notes where you can learn more and nourish yourself, your family, support the show, support our family. Win, 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 win. I would also like to take a moment to mention the fact that we are getting closer towards the end of the year. It's a good time to start thinking ahead. And as things slow down here, I know I definitely am thinking ahead. And things just recently slowed down. But I'm getting a chance to get caught up. And in the process of getting caught up on things like email, which we'll talk about in just a moment, I am thinking ahead to next year in many ways. And in order to do that, much in the same way like I did last year, I'm going to be reviewing the goal setting workbook, which I will link to in the show notes. The goal setting workbook is from Dan Miller, author of 48 Days to the Work and Life You Love. A great book if you are experiencing transition or want to experience transition in your life but are unsure of how to go about doing so. Dan Miller provides a great framework in that book, 48 Days to the Work and Life You Love. And this goal-setting workbook is something that's available for free. And I would just definitely encourage you to check that out. I'll link to that in the show notes. It's a game changer if you put in the work to make it happen and follow the steps, all right? So yeah, real simple. We set goals in 7 areas of our life. In the past, for those of you who've listened to the show, I've talked about this at great length. I even got to a point where I structured the show around these 7 aspects of life: financial, physical, personal development, family, spiritual, social, and career. We work them in that order. We set goals in that order, oftentimes financially first because it's the most, you know, tangible, feasible thing that we can easily identify and put metrics to. And then we work towards doing that in all other aspects of our life. And I am a firm believer that once we get a handle on our finances, the rest comes together a little bit more easily. So check out the goal setting workbook for more. And also, you know, I've talked about the 48 Days Eagles community in the past. Right now, the 48 Days Eagles community is closed to membership. I recently learned this, as much like many other social medias, I've been a bit slow and I've been a bit removed from the 48 Days Eagles community, but I am now trying to get a little bit more involved and a little bit more active on various social medias, at least a little bit. There's a lot to do, guys. There's a lot to do. But anyways, I've talked about this in the past, and I did get a little bit of a sneak peek, maybe some insider information that there will be a window next month in November where the Eagles community will be opening up for membership. So if you're interested in that, you want to talk about that some more, message me, reach out to me on Telegram, t.me/allaroundgrowth, or just send me an email at allaroundgrowth@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to chat with you a bit about that more. I'll also simply link to the 48 Days Eagles community so that you can learn more and ultimately sign up to be notified when things open up. And I'm sure that's how it works. All right, so email management, that's what we're going to talk about today. There's a lot of ways that you can do this. And, historically, I have used a number of different things, but I've never really, consolidated my efforts into one system, if you will. Why? Well, a lot of it had to do with the fact that, I was always working for someone. And if I wasn't changing jobs, right? Like I did work with someone recently, and the job that I just left, I was there for 8 seasons. And that was the longest I'd been employed with any one company. But even within that term of employment, I worked in a number of different projects within the company, so to speak. And when I was with the Davey Tree Expert Company, I was actively managing multiple different projects as I grew my career, and also managed to do so in different states, different cities, different territories, regions, what have you. And I was always in this state of flux and change, so I never really had any incentive or motivation to settle into any one kind of system, because the systems that I were actively using were always changing with each different locale and project that I was working with and on. Enter 2022, and as of June, well, May technically, I left my day job in May, farted around, did a few things to earn a few bucks for a few weeks before I ended up getting fired from that, and then decided, what am I doing? Let's do this. Let's go full time. And since June, that's exactly what's been going on. June, July, August, September has been just 4 months of go. And unlike the past, I've just not spent much time in front of a computer, or as much time in front of a computer as I had now. In the past, I'd spent like a healthy combination of time outside and then doing work on a computer inside. And now most of my time is in the kitchen and at market. And there's a little bit of computer time here and there, especially when we got the online store up and running. But most of my online time has been, I don't know, it's been different. And a lot of things like email, a lot of those things have fallen through the cracks. And now that we are moving the business in different directions with trying to get into some retail storefronts, I mean, not some retail storefronts, we already are, but I'm talking, grocery stores, chain stores. We're actively working on that now. And there are, I don't want to let these things fall through the cracks. So, these systems that I've had set up, systems that I've been thinking about and kind of been fiddling and farting around with, it's time to get moving on them and get implemented or implement these, further implement these things that I've started. Okay, so with regard to email, I've chosen Thunderbird. Like in the past, I've used Outlook, Google. You know, everybody's got an opinion about Google, but the reality is they've become very present. You know, we all had Yahoo email addresses and Hotmail addresses years ago, decades ago, but you know, Gmail and Google is as a cloud platform is something that is being increasingly used and something that I use. But now that I'm home, now that I'm here, you know, in the office more than I've ever been, I'm working off of my, you know, workstation, my own PC, I decided to use Thunderbird. Okay, so let's talk about Thunderbird a little bit. I will link to what Thunderbird is and, you know, who makes I'll link to all of this in the show notes so that you guys can learn a little bit more, and we'll talk about a couple things. So what is Thunderbird? So Thunderbird is a free, open source, cross-platform application for managing email, news feeds, chat and news groups. It is a local, okay, and that means rather than a browser or web-based, it's a local email application that is powerful yet easy to use. Okay, so what are some of the features of Thunderbird? Okay, now you've got, it's very easy to set up mail accounts. So far I've set up 1, 2, 3, 4 through Thunderbird. You can very easily create contacts in your address book. It's easy to use. You know how when you use an internet browser and you've got multiple tabs? Well, when you use Thunderbird, you know, it opens up your emails in kind of multiple tabs. It's you know, if you've gotten accustomed to using tabbed browser functionality, this works in the same way. And it was a little weird to get accustomed to at first, but it's growing on me and I'm getting to like it. And email was hard to manage at first because I had so many different email accounts on so many different, you know, email providers. Now, the one thing that doesn't seem to work well with this is if I can't seem to integrate my Proton mail accounts into Thunderbird, and that's okay because I'm not really supremely active with Proton Mail. I use it for a couple of things, but everything else seems to integrate quite easily with this. Now, some of you may be asking, what is open source, right? So let's take a look at that, and rather than me try to explain it, I'll just simply share a quick definition of what open source software is according to Wikipedia, and then, you know, I'll link to that as well, and you can go down whatever wormholes you want to go down. But open source software is computer software that is released under a license in which the copyright holder grants users the rights to use, study, change, and distribute the software and its source code to anyone for any purpose. Okay? Now, that may sound a little weird that anyone can do anything with anything for any reason, but the positive aspect of it is that, you know, reading again from Wikipedia, open source software is a prominent example of open collaboration, meaning any capable user is able to participate online in development, making the number of possible contributors indefinite. The ability to examine the code facilitates public trust in the software. See, there you go. Now, open source software development can bring in diverse perspectives beyond those of a single company, and that is part of the reason why projects like Thunderbird are so great. Now, who makes Thunderbird, right? Thunderbird is developed, tested, translated, and supported largely by a group of dedicated volunteers plus paid staff. Thunderbird is an independent, community-driven project, and therefore its paid staff, budget, and fundraising are entirely managed and overseen by the Thunderbird Council, which is elected by the Thunderbird community. Thunderbird development is made possible by funds donated by the Thunderbird community, and there's links to all of this in the link which I am reading from, which is simply Thunderbird Frequently Asked Questions on the website, okay? So the Thunderbird community is comprised of the Mozilla Corporation, the makers of Firefox and Mozilla Messaging. While they no longer develop Thunderbird, Mozilla still supports Thunderbird by hosting many of the Thunderbird resources. Okay, so why should you use it? Why do I use it? I'm going to read this real quick and then explain further why I use it. Thunderbird is, this is how Thunderbird answers the question, why should I use Thunderbird? Thunderbird is free. Thunderbird has many cool features. Thunderbird gives you control and ownership over your email. There are many add-ons available for Thunderbird to extend and customize your email experience. Thunderbird's history is with Mozilla, and so it adheres to the Mozilla Manifesto, a pledge that describes a commitment to an open, accessible, egalitarian internet. Okay, so you want to dork out and read about this manifesto. Great, go ahead. I like the fact that it's free. I like the fact that it's open source. I'm trying to integrate more of the free open source type of programs into my life, such as WordPress. And although I still struggle with that greatly, I am very grateful for my brother to be working with the family to, help make that happen. How I go about a website for the show is remains to be seen. I'll get around to it, but I've got other irons in the fire, and this show is always what it's been, something that's changing. And hey, if you are out there and you are interested in website stuff and you want to collaborate with me on the show and the website, then by all means, let me know. But for now, that's a work in progress as I work through things like email management and getting everything in order so I can make the time to do that, okay? Baby steps and prioritization. So yeah, Thunderbird is free. Thunderbird is available to download. There's just going to be links to all of this. And the one thing that is very cool about Thunderbird, and that's really all I've got to discuss. There were some frequently asked questions, but basically the questions are, what is it? Who makes it? And why should I use it? And then of course, if you're interested in those things, like where can I get it? And blah, blah, blah. And all of that will be linked through in the show notes. But we know what it is. Okay, it's a free open source cross-platform application for managing emails. You can do other things with it, but most people utilize it as an email management system, right? There's a lot of cool things and integrations with it. I think that I'm going to go ahead and use this as a task manager and calendar, yes, there's some cool integrations on how I can use the Google Calendar with this and how I can, they cross right with each other. And some people I don't think want to use this because it may not pair well with their phones or their mobile devices, okay? I'm an iPhone user. How does this work for me? Well, I just use the stock mail app, and then that allows me access to the folders and the way in which my email is managed through here because it's tied up and synced with the Google servers or the Yahoo or whatever emails I'm using, or whatever emails you're using. So the folders and filters that you create transfer over there, and everything is synced up and easy to use. Whereas it's very easy to use. The support community, the amount of information that's available on YouTube University makes this incredibly easy to use. And there's just a wealth of information on how this can apply to you. So, check it out. I'm still relatively new to it, and I'm learning how to use it better. And so far, I'm pleased with it, and I think this is going to be what I stick with. So I don't know. With that said, that the work I've been doing this morning seemed like an appropriate topic for today's show. That's going to be more of what I'm getting into today, in addition to some other things here, just playing catch up with a slow week after a long market season. And I think those of us who have been at markets, running multiple markets, are appreciating a bit of a slow time. And this is not going to last too long, because you know what's right around the corner, the holidays, and that is a busy time for many people for many reasons. So if you've got a minute to take some time and slow down, then make sure you enjoy that. And ultimately more effective management of stuff, all these inputs in life, right? More effective management of that stuff with tools like Thunderbird can help, just help you more effectively manage your life so that you can do the things that you want to do when you want to do them. And hopefully it just makes things click that much easier. Well, all right, guys, that's about it for today. I look forward to catching you tomorrow on the 19th for another show. Check out the Telegram group, t.me for more, t.me/allaroundgrowth for more. Look forward to connecting with you there, and I hope you have a great day today. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.
What can I do? The needs are many and answers a few. People turn away and I wonder why. If I can help somebody, then I want to try. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love, and truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. Whoa, whoa. I'm an odd fellow. If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call. The times are wasting every day, and we can help somebody along the way. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love. Truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. You're an odd